The SSC stenographer examination was conducted recently, and the logical reasoning section saw a huge change which was never seen in the past in all SSC examinations across all the type of platforms, which is the introduction of the topic input and output. Till now, we would find this topic only in banking examinations or up to a brief extent in railways examinations, but never had we seen it in the SSC examinations. So I am here today to explain the concept of input output, how to approach these questions, to what questions is this similar, right? How the mannerism of solving can be similar to the other topics, and what are the major aspects where they will form questions for you, right? So watch this session till the end to cover these objectives today. My primary objective is to introduce this complete topic to you theoretically, and then we may practice one or two questions here and there to understand how to actually solve this question when you encounter this in the examination, right? But before I start, some brief informations for you. These are all the new topic series. So we have been covering these new topics: social intelligence, emotional intelligence, ethical dilemma, critical reasoning, input output. All these new introductions by SSC we have been covering so far on YouTube, and the same in detail you will find it on our batches also. So I'll just give you a quick walkthrough. So Oliveboard, if you are looking for where to prepare for everything, okay. So Oliveboard has already launched that extra new pattern practice course for you here, right? It is on since August 22. And you can join this. So from August 22 onwards, it will be a new another practice course for the new topics. So you can join this course and you will get to know about the new topics which are being covered, and also practice specific questions based on the same, so that you are already ready about what extra is happening, right? Now let me start with the session input output. So when I talk about input output, okay, what exactly is expected of you? So when I talk of input output, you all have already studied about computers at a very basic level of your education, right? And the first thing which was taught to you in computers was that there are three mechanisms which happen in a computer: input, process and output. Okay, so same happens here also. So there is an input, there is a process or processing we also call that, and there is an output which is generated. Okay, so what happens is you provide some input. Maybe you want to add two numbers, so you're supplying those two numbers. Okay, the process is the computer is adding those two numbers, and the sum of those numbers is returned as the output. That is your desired thing, what you need to do. Okay, that is the idea of this whole thing. Okay, now in a similar way, they are telling you that there is a machine. There is a hypothetical machine, okay, and what it is, hence the topic is also known as machine input output sometimes, so don't get confused. And you are presenting some inputs to this machine. The inputs can be in the form of plain numbers, it can be in the form of plain letters, it can be in the form of plain words, meaningful or just random clusters, or it can be the combination of all. I can add symbols also here. Okay, or all of the above. Okay, so either numbers or letters or words or symbols or all of the above. There is a combination of everything which is supplied as an input. Okay, now there is a process which is involved. So machine will perform that process. That process is always covered in the form of steps. Okay, 2 steps, 3 steps, 5 steps, 6 steps. Ideally, you will see a lot of questions will have 5 to 6 steps at your level. In banking, etc., you see steps going till 8, 7, etc., and they can increase it further also. Okay, so that is the process. Stepwise, everything is going to happen. So what is your main idea is, and then you will get your output. Okay. First and foremost, what you need to do is you need to decode what process is taking place. They will give you an input. How is the question asked to you? They give you an input. They give you the complete process stepwise. Okay. And they give you the output. Then they ask you to read this and understand and decode the process. So this makes it similar to what? This makes it similar to coding, decoding. Okay, number series, I would just say series, analogy. So basically the analytical reasoning aspect of it, this is just another way of asking the same questions to you. If in coding decoding I am telling you that this is a number, this is a word which is being coded into this form, so then how will this word be coded in the same language? So you just decipher the code, you read and you understand what exactly is happening, then you apply the same and you get your answer. Exactly same thing is happening here. They are telling you this is my input, okay, and this is being coded. So this is the coding which is happening. This is being coded and this is the final coded output. Now I am giving you another input. You tell me after this process what will be the desired output. What will be the output? That is what this question is all about. Okay. So your focus idea is to identify what happens under this category. What is happening in the process point? What is the machine doing exactly? Okay. How do you do it? The first step which you need to keep in mind is always look at your input and output together. First step is you do that. The moment you get a question, you read the input, you read the output together. Don't read the process first. Once you do that, you'll get a fair idea of what exactly is being done. Okay. Now, what all outputs are commonly used? So, if you are looking at numbers, you can have arithmetic outputs. What are arithmetic outputs? That means each step actually has a different arithmetic operation which is happening. Maybe all the numbers are being increased by 5. Then all the second step numbers are being multiplied by 2. Then all the third step numbers are being squared. And then on the fourth step, we are adding the first 3 steps and getting our answer. That is the final output. So each step may be independent of the previous step, may not be independent of the previous step. Understand this. If I have, I'll show you everything here. Okay. So for the arithmetic cases, you will see that each step may be independent. That means I have the primary input. Input is increased by 5. So I'll get step 1. Now that same input is multiplied by 2, so I get step 2. Now that same input is squared, so I get step 3. And now step 1, 2 plus 3 is step 4. So here each step is independent of the other step. But input, I am multiplying everything by 2, so step 1. Now this step 1, I am increasing everything by 5, that is step 2. Now step 2, I am squaring all the numbers, so I am getting step 3. So here each step is dependent on the previous step. So you can have both types of logic which is going on. Okay, this is what you need to understand. So you can have an arithmetic thing where steps may be dependent or independent. Of each other. Okay, what is the other thing? Other thing can be arrangement in a the other option can be if you're looking at letters or maybe words, you arrange them in an alphabetical order. For numbers only I'll write first. 1, 2 I will write it as ascending or descending order. Okay, for numbers. So this is another thing. You can always often see flipping of numbers. So flipping is another common output. Flipping means if I am talking about, let's say I have 97, I will convert that into 79. And the same can happen with words also. If I am writing CAT, I will write it as TAC. Okay. So this flipping is also very common. Everything like coding, decoding only, you will see various codes which are coming out of this. For letters, we can see they are being arranged in alphabetical order. And I can call it increasing or decreasing in both ways. And the same applies to words as well. Words also can be arranged in alphabetical order, increasing or decreasing. And symbols can also just be shifted. So you're basically just shifting or shuffling. Okay, these are the various outputs which happen, which take place. Okay, and there can be more. You need to identify what exactly is happening. Okay. Now, what are the process? What are the steps? How is each of them processed? So you will majorly see 3 types of processes. Majorly you will see 3 types of processes. We label them as arrangement based processes. Okay. And I call them with 3 major types, that is pushback, the pushback process, the exchange mechanism, and the arithmetic one. So arithmetic one I call it as single. So you will see these three types of steps which will majorly take place. Okay, see, if I want to arrange them in ascending or descending order, this is arrangement based, so this either of them can be applied. If I want to flip them, then so there is no method whatsoever, they will just get flipped and arranged. If I want to arrange them in an alphabetical order, again arrangement based. Shifting, shuffling, again arrangement based. Okay, but arithmetic is different. Now let's look at some examples to understand better what exactly happens here and how do you need to identify. Okay, so I'll show you one example. Suppose I have something like this. I have an input with me and I'll give you a combination of some wait, just give me a moment. Yeah, so I'll just give you a combination of random numbers, okay? 9, 7, 3, 5, 8, 4, 2. Very simple question, right? Now, what we are doing here is our process. So, step 1, my desired output I am telling you right away. My desired output is I want to arrange them in a descending order. Okay, I want to arrange them in ascending order, sorry. So, we will first understand what is a pushback mechanism. Okay, I want to arrange them in ascending order. So, if I want to arrange them in ascending order, what should be the first number? Lowest number? What is the lowest number here? It is 2. So, this 2 will come here before 9 and it will push the rest of them behind. This is pushback. Now, pushback can be one way and two way, both. Okay, I can have, let's say, a combination of letters and let's say numbers. So, numbers are being arranged in ascending order, letters are being arranged in decreasing order after that. So, all the numbers together, all the letters together. So, in a mixture, I will have the smallest number which is coming in front. Simultaneously, I can have the largest letter which is going at the back. And then they are pushing back the rest of them together. They are squeezing them together. So, that's a double pushback. Okay. What I'll do is, to make it easier, I'll add a line for you so that you understand where is the pushback. So, 2 is coming in front. Now, I have a pushback and the rest of them will follow. So, 9, 7, 3, 5, 8, 4. Now, a lot of people, what they do is, they write it exactly in the same order. So, rather than writing it like this, what they'll do is, instead of 9, they'll bring 2 here and the rest of them after the pushback will go back. So, this is 9, 7, 3, 5, 8, 4. And the more you keep doing this, a lot of people will say that there are steps which will be forming like this. Okay, so you will get your answer, which is fine. Okay, but I think it's not required like that. You can simply approach it normally only. So you bring your 2 in front, you will have 2, pushback, 9, 7, 3, 5, 8, 4. Now, step number 2, only one movement in one step. Step number 2, one type of movement. So now the next number is 3. So I need to bring 3 forward. So I'll replace this pushback with 3 now and this pushback will move forward. So I'll have 2, 3, pushback, 9, 7, 5, 8, 4. Next is 4. This 4 will come here. So step 3, I will have 2, 3, 4, pushback, 9, 7, 5, 8. Okay. Next I will have 5 which will come here. So step 4 will be 2, 3, 4, 5, pushback, 9, 7, 8. Next I will have 7 which will come here. Step 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, pushback, 9, 8. And the last I will have 8 which will come here. So I will have step 6 which will have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 and this will become my output step. So I have seen that my desired output from this input is coming in 6 steps. Okay. Now, what is the difference? I'll tell you a difference. What is the approach difference? In banking, what will happen is, they know that this is going to be time consuming because they're not going to give you very easy questions. So they give you complex questions, and to figure that out, to approach it and to solve the whole thing, it actually takes a lot of time. So what they usually do is they connect one input output question with multiple sub questions, something like a puzzle or a sitting arrangement. So they have given you one arrangement input output based question, and they have attached, let's say, 3 or 4 questions after it, or 5 questions after it. So you have sufficient time, because after arranging this, the questions will become very easy which will follow. There will be questions like how many steps did it take for you to reach the output. Now here it reminds me of one more thing. A lot of students fail to understand. If I am telling you that there are 6 steps for me to reach this output here, and I am giving you another set of numbers and asking you how many steps will it now take, don't ever think that it is still going to take 6 steps. It might change. Maybe it will get you the answer in 6 steps, maybe 5 steps, maybe 7 steps, maybe more than that also. Okay, it all depends upon what sort of input you have. Supposedly, instead of 9 and 8, if I had an 8 first and 9 later, because I have already arranged this in a random order, but if I had 8 before and 9 later, then I would not have required the 6th step at all. I would have gotten my answer here only, because that would be auto arranged. Okay, so observe very carefully. There are little things which you need to be careful about, right? So don't be under an assumption that if my question input is of 6 steps output, then my current output will also be of 6 steps. Not necessary. It may change. Depends upon what they have given you as a question input. Okay. Now this has been finally arranged. This is known as a pushback mechanism. Why pushback? So every time there was a movement, the others were being pushed back, squeezed. Now I'll show you about an exchange mechanism. The second one is an exchange mechanism. I'll give you an example for that. So I'll write an input. Now, in this case, my desired output is to arrange them in the ascending order. Okay, in the ascending order. But this time, I am not following the pushback mechanism. I am following the exchange mechanism. How does this work? So people don't know this, and that is why when they read the steps, they'll get very confused at what exactly is happening here. So my step 1, I know that my output has to have all these letters arranged in the ascending order. So what is the first letter? First letter has to be B. But currently what is the first letter? It is D. So what will happen is B and D will change their positions. So they will exchange each other's positions. So I'll have B first, then D, and the rest of them will follow. X, Y, C, F, H. Okay. Now what will happen is, now the next letter has to be C. So C and D will get exchanged. Okay, so step 2 will be B, C, X, Y, D, F, H. This is very interesting actually. Now the next step, X and D will exchange with each other. So step 3 will be B, C, D, Y, X, F, H. In the next step, Y and F will exchange with each other. So there will be multiple exchanges like this. Step number 4, B, C, D, F, X, Y, H. Okay, now X and H will exchange with each other. So step number 5, I'll have B, C, D, F, H, Y, X, and in the end X and Y will exchange with each other. Okay, so I'll have step 6, B, C, D, F, H, X, Y, and this is my output. Okay, so my output has been achieved. I have arranged them in terms of ascending order, but this time this is not pushback. And if it is not pushback, you will see that there is no ladder based case form. They are all in the straight lines only. Everywhere you can see they are mostly in straight lines. There is no ladder which is being formed. Okay, that I am moving each one step backward. No, that is not happening. They are either staying in the same place or just randomizing. Okay, so this is a case of exchange mechanism. Both come under the category of arrangement only, arrangement and shifting. Okay, cool. So I have achieved my output with this. Now, usually they will not give you a single input. They will mix the input. They will give you some symbols, they will give you some letters, maybe some words and maybe some numbers. So you'll have to think, everything will follow different logics. Finally, there will be an arrangement. The numbers will be arranged in ascending order first, followed by words in a decreasing dictionary order, followed by symbols in the order which they have occurred in the whole sequence, like this, right? And they can also give you alternating, like one number, one letter, one number, one letter. That is also happening. So I'll just write that here also. So output can have alternate also. Okay. Right? Now let me show you an arithmetic based example. So I'll show you an arithmetic based example. I'll show you both dependent and independent in the same logic. So I have an input here, which let me give you, I'll give you simple one, exact, very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. Okay, this is the input. Now, step 1. Step 1, I will have this as 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. Step 2, I will have 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 200, 16. Step 3, I am having 2, 12, 36, 80, 150, 252. Okay. And step 4, 1, 6, 18, 40, 75, 126. Okay, and this is, let's say, my output step. Now a lot of people will try to figure it out, what exactly is happening. There is no arrangement, there is no increasing order, no decreasing order, no movement, no shifting. What kind of an input output question is this? So this is the arithmetic kind. Okay, each step they are not changing their position, they are just changing their, some mathematical operation is happening on them and they are giving you the next step. Sometimes arithmetic and shifting can also be combined to make it more difficult, right? It's like coding decoding. I am teaching you letter to letter, letter to number, okay, all these various types of coding decoding, but in the end they will all be mixed together and asked. Right? So now what exactly is happening? If you want to decode this, we'll understand that from here to here we are just squaring the input. Squaring the input. Okay. But from S1 to S2 you can't see any credible logic. You'll think that's multiplied by 2, multiplied by 3, multiplied by 4, multiplied by 5, multiplied by 6. Yeah. But this one is not following through. Multiply by 1, multiply by 2, multiply by 3. A lot of people will think it like this. But this is actually the cube. Cube of input only. So I can assume that step 1 is an independent. So from getting from the input. Step 2 is independent of the previous step. It is directly coming from the input. That is also possible. What about step 3? Step 3 is the sum of step 1 and step 2. So step 3 is actually not directly dependent on the input. It is independent now. No changes in the input is leading to step 3. Step 3 is dependent on the previous steps. Okay. And what about step 4? Step 4 is simply half of step 3. So if I am dividing step 3 by 2, I am getting step 4. So this is dependent. Like so far, whatever we have learned, everything was dependent on the previous step. Whatever movement happened in the previous step, I used to carry that forward. But in the initial two things, maybe in the third one also I can do that it is not independent, it is not dependent on the previous step. It is independent of the previous step. It is directly dependent on the input. Each time I am changing the input and getting new steps and then finally getting my output. So this makes it easier. Why? Because sometimes, let's say I am asking you what is the second step of a particular input. So I'll just directly cube them and get the answer. I don't have to look at the step 1 also. But otherwise, if I ask you what is the step 4 of this particular input, then you will have to calculate step 1, step 2, step 3 and only then will you be able to get step 4. That is the idea I am trying to tell you. Okay. So this is the arithmetic one. So these are common examples. I have given you very basic examples of how to approach these questions. Sometimes they just change positions. Nothing, no increasing, decreasing order. They are just shifting. That happens with symbols a lot. Symbols are just exchanging positions. The symbol will be changed 2 steps to the left, then 3 steps to the right, something of that sort. Okay. So now if we have a fair idea, I have brought some banking based questions for you. Now you will say why banking? Because that will give you a good exposure, but the questions are not very difficult. Okay, they're interesting questions. So let's try to figure it out. It's going to take some time. Okay, so what you can do is when I show those questions to you, this is the very first question. So what you can do is just go through this. I'll just show everything to you, display. You take a screenshot or you pause the video here, read it, try to solve, and then you can look at the solutions, because we don't have as much time to actually go through this completely. Okay, so this is the question. This is for 1 to 5. Okay, so we are covering multiple questions here. And this is exactly how the input is looking like. So this is the input for the machine. Okay, 34 lights, ink, 56, 78, online, defeat, 99, orange, range, 87, 22. This is what the input looks like. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. Step 6 is the output. So this is the output. Now, your first thing is to observe the input and output together. So this is the input. This is the output. What exactly is happening? If you see, the numbers are coming together. They are all arranged in the descending order. Same numbers. 99, 87, 78. All these numbers arranging in the descending order. And the letters 4, 9, 12, 15, O, N, O, R and R. So they are being increased in the ascending order. Okay. So all the numbers first and letters later. So now you understand directly that what exactly needs to be done. What is the final process? Now you'll have to observe at each step what exactly is happening. So what is happening? So you will see that 22, the smallest number, is coming in front first. They are bringing the smallest number first. So they want to arrange it in decreasing order. So they are arranging in the reverse ascending order. They are bringing the smallest number first, then the next number will keep on coming back. So pushback is happening in the reverse order. Okay. And simultaneously, they are bringing the smallest word, defeat, also at the back. So defeat is coming here. There is a pushback here only. So the words will be arranged here and the words will be arranged, numbers will be arranged here. So everything will go towards the back and the rest of them will be squeezed together. Double pushback. That is what is happening. Understood? In the next case, 34 will come here. No, in the next step, 34 is coming here and the next word after defeat, ink, is going at the back. Okay. So that is the arrangement. Understood what needs to be done? Okay. We have figured out what needs to be done. Now we are looking at the actual question. The actual question is, if this is the input, so you need to solve this first. Okay. You need to solve this first to get the correct answer. Right? That's the idea. Now in SSC what will happen is they will not expect you to solve it completely, because that much time and that much liberty is not there, because 100 questions, 60 minutes. And if they really want to ask you that question for input output, their question is always going to be very limited. So what they'll do is they'll give you this whole thing, they'll give you this input and they'll ask you one question about the second step. That will be easy for you to calculate. They will not actually ask you how many steps or till what step are you going, etc, etc, etc. That can be time consuming. And obviously they also want you to complete the paper in, the idea is the paper is designed in a way that it will be completable in 60 minutes. So have that idea. If you look at railway previous year questions, you will find that the questions are very small of input output. Not as large as this. Okay. Let's look at this one. So now, if you see, all the words are different here. Thankful, message, listing, known, book list, quit. So we'll only represent them by letters. Why to waste time and write the whole thing? Okay. So the input line, I'll just repeat it for you here. Input line is 6754 TM. 6754 TM. L 2345. L 2345 K. B 90Q 88. B 90Q 88. This is my input. Cool. Numbers in descending order and letters in ascending order. Next, first step. What will happen? The smallest number will come in the front. What is the smallest number? It's 23. So 23 is going to come in the front. And the smallest letter is going to go at the back. Smallest letter is B. So B is going to go at the back. Okay. Now this is double pushback. So what is happening? 23 will come here. is going to push the rest of them behind. So this is 67. 23 is going to come here, but a pushback will be here. So this is 67, 54, T, M, L, 45, K, 90, Q, 88 and B, and there's a pushback. So what this kind of pushback means, that these movements are happening at the corners and they are pushing the rest of them together. They are squeezing the rest of them together. Now these lines here will make sure that you know where to add your next element. So in the next step, what will happen is the next number after 23 is going to be what? It's 45. So 45 will come here instead of this line. And the next letter after B is going to be what? It is going to be K, I think, right? 11. So K will come here. Okay. So now step 2 will be 45, 23, push back before it, 67, 54, T, M, L, 90, Q, 88, B, K, push back. Now, when I solve it myself, I don't put these lines here. What I do is I put it here only to make a difference that these are the remaining ones and these are already arranged ones. You can do that also, not a problem. You can add additional lines if you want. Next number after 45 is 54. This 54 will go here. And next letter after K is L. So L will go here. Okay. So what is my step 3? Step 3 will be push back 54, 45, 23. Rest of them will be the same. 67, T, M, 90, Q, 88, B, K, L. Push back. Okay. Next, after 54, the next number is 67. So we'll bring it here. And after L, the next is M. So we'll bring it there. So step 4 is 67, 54, push back before it, 45, 23, T, 90, Q, 88, B, K, L, M, push back. Okay. Next number is 88. So 88 will come in front. And next letter is Q. So Q will go there. So we have step 5. Push back 88, 67, 54, 45, 23, T, 90, B, K, L, M, Q. Okay. And the last thing now, this 90 will go here and this T will go at the back. So I'll have my final output. Okay. Cool. Should I write that output? I'll write it here. So step 6 will be my output step. So I'll have 90, 88, 67. (54, 45, 23). Followed by BKLMQT. Done. Final output is achieved. Now let's look at the question. Okay. Question number 1. How many steps will be required to get the final output? This was the input which we had. They are asking you how many steps are required to get the final output. So I will say 6 steps. The final output step will also be counted. Okay, so 6 steps in all. From the input, we took 6 steps to reach here. So 6 is my answer. So option D, 6 is the correct answer. Understood? Next. Which of these will be the third step? So you can expect any one of these questions which can pop up, and mostly initial steps they'll ask you from. Third step. So we have it here already. Third step is 54, 45, 23. And in the end we have BKL. 54, 45, 23. In the end we have BKL. Okay, both of them are same only, so we'll have to read further. 54, 45, 23, 67, thankful, message and 90. Check which one is going to come first, M or 90. After thankful, after T. Step 3, after T we have message first. Message, then 90, then Q88. So message 90Q88. Option A is the correct answer. This is the third step. Okay. Next. What will be the fourth element from the left in the second step of the output? Fourth element from the left in the second step of the output. Second step, fourth element from the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 54. Option C is the right answer. Cool. Next, which element will be 6 to the left of second element from the right in step 6? Okay. Second element from the right, 6 to the left. So basically we are looking for 8th element from the right. Okay. 8th element from the right is what they're asking us in step 6, the final output step. 8th element from the right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 45. Okay. What is the position of the word known in step 2? Known in step 2. Step 2, known is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Obviously last from the right end. First from the right end, sorry. Okay. First from the right end. So that is right end of the line. Cool. So you will always assume them to be arranged, so facing the north. So your right and left will be accordingly arranged always. Right. This was an example of your input output based question. Well, I will not stretch this class further. The idea was for you to have an exposure of how to attempt input and output. Okay. What all variations you can find and how to approach these questions. But I'll share this PDF with you. I have wonderful questions lined up for you here. Okay. Second one, a very interesting question actually. Just go through it if you can. Then the third input output. I have 3 only in all, I think, or I have 1 more, I believe. Yeah, 1 more is there. So there are 4 of them here which you can solve. Right. There are 5 in fact. So I'll share this whole thing with you. Or probably we can have 1 more practice class. I can do that also. If you want, I can have 1 more practice class for you. So I'll share 1 or 2 additional input output questions. You can solve them at your end. Right. And then we'll see how we will proceed about this. So the idea is now that the session is over, what was the main objective? The main objective was for me to explain the complete concept of input output to you as far as your SSC exams are concerned. I have done that. For you to have a better understanding and exposure to the type of questions which can be asked, all the variations, I have done that. And we have practiced a few questions also. So we now have a fair exposure of what exactly needs to be done when I'm talking about input and output. I'll plan 1 more session, an additional session for you where we will practice intensively. So that that will make sure that we are on track, right? So that's all for today's session. I'll end the session here. Thank you so much for joining live, guys. Bye-bye. Namaskar. Jai Hind.